Remember, this is Decoding Attachment Style, a part of the YouTube channel as well as my podcast, and I am here to help you break down and understand attachment styles. I know it can be a little complicated for us, and my attempt is to help you to appreciate it, understand it, become a little bit more aware so that you know that if you have heard that you are clingy and needy in a relationship, where is that coming from? Are you wrong for feeling this way? Is something broken? No, nothing's broken. And if you feel like you are too disconnected in relationships, this is to help you understand why this might be happening in your relationship and what's really causing all of the back and forth, the push and pull in relationships, especially when we care about the other person. We want the relationship to work. What is really holding us up? What's keeping us from having this happy, healthy relationship that we are hoping for? Now, many of you have sent questions in, and I'm going to answer a few of those questions here today on this YouTube, if you're looking at the YouTube, or on the podcast, Decoding Attachment Style. So let's get to it. The question is, I'm anxious attached, but I keep attracting avoidant attached persons. Would it be best to stay single so I attract securely attached people? That's really not how simple it is. We wish it could be, and if that was the case, then we would not have to explain attachment styles or attachment theory to anyone. This is something that our attachment has been created from babyhood to whatever age we're at right now. So as a baby, if you look at a baby is someone who's cared for, who gets a lot of cuddles, who gets a lot of attention. So it's normal. That's what it's used to. It's used to love, attention, being cared for. Now, let's imagine a 3 or 4 year old. A 3 or 4 year old, and we're going to use the mom in this example. It can be the dad, it can be a mom, it could be whomever your caregiver was, and how we interpreted their behavior, right? We'll talk about that a little later. Our interpretation of how we were cared for matters to how our attachment style was developed. Now, we're looking at a 3 or a 4 year old child. That child brings a little drawing, a little crayon sketch to a parent. And the parent is busy at work on a computer and says, you know what, I really can't, baby. I really can't come right now. I'll come to you later. But the mother gets carried away. She forgets. And the baby is left feeling hurt. First, rejection because it didn't get the attention that it needed right away. And now it's feeling hurt and rejected because mommy forgot to come and look at my drawing. And this happens a second time and a third time. And now this child, this 3, 4 year old child, starts to see a pattern that, wait a second, whenever I come to mommy, she never shows any attention. She's always too busy. So I'm going to learn how to self-soothe. I'm going to learn how to take care of myself. I'm going to learn to be independent. I'm not going to ask anyone for anything. I'm not going to ask them for their validation. I'm not going to ask them for their care. I'm not going to ask for concern. I'm just going to stay on my path and ignore everyone else around me, because what I'm learning is that by going to people and asking them to give me the care that I had as a teeny tiny baby, I'm not going to get it. I'm going to be hurt. So I become a dismissive avoidant. I learned that I don't need human connection. I could figure this out on my own. I could survive on my own. Now, let's look at another 3, 4 year old child. And that child goes to mommy and says, here's my drawing. And mommy's busy and says, I can't deal with this right now. I'm really, really busy. And this happens every now and again. But when that child does well in school, or in whatever gymnastics or game it takes part in, the mommy gets really excited. And this happens over a period of years. At 5 and 6 and 7, that child is ignored at times. But when that child does well in a soccer game or good grades at school, everybody gets excited about it. Now that child learns that for my emotional needs or love needs to be earned, I have to do well, and I have to do it the way the person likes. So I have to study that person. I have to study mommy. Okay, what is she like? She doesn't really care about my drawing, so I'm not going to show that to her. But she cares when I do well in school. So I'm going to excel in school. Oh, she gets excited if I bring her a glass of water. So I'm going to do that because that makes her excited. That makes her love me. I have to earn it. I have to figure out what this person wants. And then I have to do that thing. And if I don't do it, they're going to be disappointed and hurt. And I'm not going to get their approval. So I learn to study people, give them what they want so they don't leave me. But sometimes they're there and sometimes they're not. And when I get too close to them, I know there's a possibility I will do something to disappoint them. So I'm going to pull back. I want their connection, but I'm going to pull back because I need to protect myself. That child grows into a fearful avoidant. Now let's look at another child, 3-4-year-old again. This is a child that sees mommy leave. She leaves for the supermarket. But that child's sitting there wondering, where did mommy go? Did I do something? Why is she gone for so long? Is she coming back? Now I'm getting scared. So when mommy comes in, the child latches on because the child starts to believe, if I could hold on tight and long enough, mommy's not going to leave me again. She's going to be right here. And so the child grows up as an adult wanting to hold on to people because it's learned that if I hold on, even though it's not true, if I hold on long enough, this person is going to stay. And we end up with that anxious attachment style. Now, a secure attached style child would know that mommy's going to leave. Mommy's going to communicate that I'm going to leave to go to the supermarket and I'll be gone for a short period of time and I'll be back. And that's what happens. The child starts to see consistency. The child knows that the child can go off and play and can come back and the parent or caregiver is right there. The child knows that if the child has a little painting to show the caregiver has the emotional capacity to pause what they're doing and attend to the child's desires in that moment. Doesn't mean that you have to abandon what you're doing, but the child learns that they have consistent care, affection, and attention. That person grows up to be a secure, attached person. Now, this isn't to say that parents are doing something wrong. I believe for the most part, parents try to do their best. And as we grow up, we interpret those behaviors as either a positive or a negative. We don't understand what our parents are going through. We're unable to empathize with the parent because as a child, you need to feel safe. As a human being, child, we need to feel protected and safe. It's our survival. And so we grow up interpreting what has happened to us as either a way, not either, but ways to survive. It's either I push you away or you're going to keep hurting me and I won't survive. I won't learn to be on my own and survive. Or I've got to grab on to you and hold on and hope to God that you're going to be there for me or I won't survive. So both attachment styles and the secure attached style, we learn these behaviors as a form of survival. Now, a secure attached person is going to be someone who is comfortable with their independence, knows the importance of being independent, knowing the importance of being able to take care of ourselves, as well as the importance of healthy connections. An avoidant attached person learns to take care of themselves. Emotional connection is secondary. For the fearful avoidant, it is important, but still secondary. And for the dismissive avoidant, it is not necessary. They don't see it as a necessity. They could live without it, or they believe they can live without it. An anxious attached needs connection. They see that as the ultimate goal and way to surviving. I do not subscribe to it. I believe that we need to heal our anxious and avoidant attachment styles to move into a more secure attached style. Now, to answer this question, would it be best to stay single so I can attract a secure? It's not that easy. If we're single, we can very well still attract an anxious or an avoidant attached partner because we haven't healed our attachment style wounds. And what does our attachment style wounds cause us to do? Either push people away to keep ourselves safe or grab on and hold on to them, which can be suffocating for the other person. What we want to be able to do is to heal those parts of us that needs validation, that we need our partner to say, I love you. If you don't say it, I don't feel good. Now, I had a client once who said, I just feel better when I get a text from him. And I asked, okay, for how long does it make you feel better? And she said, well, about 5 minutes. For 5 minutes, I'm okay. And then what happens? Well, then I start thinking that he's forgotten me, that he's probably talking to somebody else, that he doesn't want to be with me anymore. And I said, okay, so you're saying to me that you would only feel safe and comforted if you hear from your partner every 5 minutes, because that's the lapse time, right? 5 minutes, I'm feeling safe. And then after that, I need to hear from this person again. Now imagine if your partner needed to hear from you every 5 minutes. It means you can't do anything else. You can't focus on your work. If you've got children, you can't focus on that, on raising your kids. If you are out with friends, you can't focus and be present with your friends because you constantly feel like, oh my gosh, if I don't reach out to my partner in 5 minutes, they're going to be uncomfortable. And if they're uncomfortable, then I start to feel the pressure. And so that's no way of going through a relationship. And this was an anxious attached person. Now for the avoidant attached, they don't want too much connection. They're fine with seeing a person for a few hours or a couple of days, and then they disconnect completely. No texts, no calls until they're ready to connect again, which is not fair to the other person. Because now the other person is wondering, okay, what's going on here? We had this intense connection. Things were great. We were so happy. And now my body feels just so tossed away from that feeling, so disconnected from this joy that I had. And so what's going on here? So it's very confusing. So what we want to be able to do is heal those wounds. We want to be able to validate ourselves. We want to be able to say, okay, you know what? I'm worthy of love. I am deserving of respect and care. I am valuable in this relationship. I am valuable to the people who are in my life. And so if I know that about myself, if I could love myself, if I could fall in love with myself and say, you know what? I am a good, kind, caring, compassionate, thoughtful, giving, respectful person. I'm always working on myself. I am good. I'm good to people and I work on the areas that I want to improve on. And so because I know all of these things about me, I am a prize. This person knows that I'm valuable in their life. So I don't have to constantly ask them to confirm for me that I'm valuable in their life. This shows that you are able to validate yourself. You don't have to ask them, hey, do you love me? Do you love me? Are you sure you love me? Because you already know that you are lovable. You are deserving of love. And when you find that self-love, when you love yourself so much, I mean, I like to use this story with persons. If you have children, you have a pet, you have something you really care about, a piece of jewelry. Would you allow anyone to hurt it? Would you allow someone to take your precious stone ring and scratch it up? Would you allow someone to snap at your child or insult your child? Your best friend, a sibling that you care about? Would you allow someone to hurt them? No. And it's because you value that person or that thing. You love that person or that thing. Why aren't we doing it for ourselves? Why aren't we able to say to people, just as we would say, hey, don't hurt that piece of jewelry, don't scratch that piece of jewelry, take care of that piece of jewelry. Or the way we would say, don't talk to my child that way. Or don't talk to my sister that way. You don't get to talk to my friend that way. Why are we unable to say it for ourselves? It is because we have not learned to love ourselves as much as we love that piece of jewelry, as much as we love our friends and our family. We have not learned to love ourselves as much. How do we fall in love with ourselves? I'm just going to touch on this just a little bit to let you know that, to find a secure, attached person, first you have to love yourself. If not, you don't know how to accept love and what to say no to. How do you fall in love with yourself? The same way you fall in love with someone else. You get to know them. You get to know what they like and what they don't like. You accommodate them. You do only what they like and you don't do things that they don't like. So you start doing that for yourself. You encourage them to do things that would make their lives better, right? So you now start to do that for yourself. So the way you show up for somebody you believe you love, you start doing it for yourself. And when you start falling in love with yourself and an anxious attached comes in and they're demanding of you, they're demanding things that you are uncomfortable giving. You're uncomfortable with not having space or not having permission to have some space to yourself. You could say, this does not work for me. And if you're dating someone who's got an avoidant attachment style, who is unable to have a healthy conversation with you, who gets defensive and attacks you and make you feel less than, when you fall in love with yourself enough, you can say, this does not work for me. I love me too much. I love you, sure, but I love me more. And it does not work for me. And so you become a more securely attached person, but you're also able to know what you can and can't and will and won't accept. And a lot of people will reach out to me because their biggest struggle is knowing what's right and what's wrong, what's a boundary and what isn't. The simplest formula to knowing how to set a boundary is when something does not feel good for you. It does not make your soul sing. It makes your spirit feels as though it's quivering and shriveling and falling apart and dying. You say, no, I'm not feeling good about this. I'm going to step back and process it. It's hard to say no when you still have an insecure attachment style. The reason for that is we are people pleasers. We want to be accepted. We want to feel loved because our fears are being rejected, being neglected, and being abandoned. And we believe that if we could just suck it up, then people are going to love us and they're going to accept us. And it never happens because what happens is you end up in this vicious cycle of having to debate with yourself. Should I choose me or should I choose them? Where am I at? When you choose yourself, the right people, the ones who are meant to be in your life, will respect you. They will love you. They will admire you. They'll be inspired by you. You may not have a huge crowd, but you'll have a small and the right crowd. I hope this helps. Let me know in the comment section how you feel about this. Feel free to send me your questions. It's always best to send me your questions through Instagram and not here because I'm a little more active over there. And until next time, I'm Annalisa Bahadur.